You're listening to Bridges Radio Program. This is a show about the creative industries, artists of all mediums, and other professionals who make the art we all enjoy. Bridges is produced at Citadel House Studios in Lewisport, Newfoundland and Labrador, and is a collaborative project between Carolyn R. Parsons and Citadel House. This program can be found on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, and in podcast at SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, as well as many other podcast hosting programs.
Hello, everybody. It is Friday night. It is April 12th, and welcome to Bridges Radio. This is Carolyn Parsons. I am on my own. Bonnie has taken some time off from Bridges, so I will be doing this program by myself for a little while. And unless I can find someone to help me and co-host, if we have anybody out there who's interested in being a guest host, I would love to have you. There's not a whole lot involved, just someone to chat with until we get to our interview. So I am here today with just a few little things to talk about. Since it's just me, I can veer off into whatever category I want to. I've been really busy. I had a birthday. My house has flowers and an orchid from my mother. My husband gave me flowers. My daughter in Ontario sent me flowers and birthday cards. I had a fabulous birthday. I did absolutely nothing and had pizza for supper. And then I got a lot of flowers, phone calls, Facebook messages, text messages. So wherever you are, it was the 8th, so just a couple days ago. Whoever you are, if you sent me a text or a message or posted on Facebook, thank you very much. There were hundreds, literally hundreds. I could not get to them all, so I would like to express my gratitude for all of those messages. It makes getting a year older that much more fun. And so I want to talk about the arts. Always want to talk about the arts. And so I will tell you, first thing I'll tell you is that I checked on the Citadel House because I don't have my resource. Bonnie Stairs is not here today to tell us about the Citadel House events coming up. So I'm just going to talk for a minute. Citadel House has a show tomorrow night, Saturday, April 13th. It is Tangle Cove. And it's a couple of guys doing some really cool music. I came across their CDs last year, and I've played them, and they are really good. So if you're in the central Newfoundland area, pop by. They are doing really well. And they will be at Citadel House tomorrow night. The thing that I wanted to talk about today is a bigger thing and a different thing. There's been a letter circulated, an open letter that was written to the Newfoundland government regarding the arts, asking for an increase of $5 million to the arts for artists of any kind of art, writers, musicians, visual artists, whatever, all of the different types of artists, drama, theater, to allow for artists to grants and money to allow them to get started, to maybe travel to places that will advance their careers where they can learn. They are asking for $5 million over the next 5 years for that increase to happen over the next, not 5 years, by 2021. I think it should be happening this year. I think that we need more money in the arts. I think that $5 million. When I saw the numbers, so I'll back up a little bit. When I moved here, it feels like there's a lot of support for the arts, and there is a lot of organizations. I am a member of WANL, the Writers Alliance. I am on the board. I know people who are involved with Music NL, a fantastic organization for musicians. There are arts organizations all over the place, and that is absolutely fantastic. So, and then because we're small, and I know so many artists, I did not realize how underfunded the arts are in Newfoundland. And because we're so artistic that we're getting the benefit without any assistance. And it is an industry that brings a lot of value, a lot of money into this province. If you think about the number of paintings sold to tourists or all of those, there's so much. I can't even, the music of this province, the film and the TV, we need to have that. There's movies being filmed here in the province and TV shows. So all of that needs to be supported because industries need funds, and particularly the artists themselves. So I've never gotten an arts grant in my life, but if an event was happening that would help me advance my career as a writer, it would be nice to have a pool of money where I can go and apply for a grant to do that. Granted, there is a pool of money, but it's so small, it's highly competitive that my odds of getting it go down, considerably. So by having more in there, more artists could get maybe bigger grants and more artists could participate. The value of that is brought home by artists themselves who are telling these stories of how they benefited when they did get a grant. When a musician gets a grant to go and record somewhere, when a musician gets a chance to go and showcase somewhere, and that is supported by some funds, that musician becomes successful, lives in the province, is earning money in the province, maybe touring outside the province. But when they come home, they're buying their house in Newfoundland. They're buying their groceries in Newfoundland. They're raising their families here. Those artists need to be supported so that they can stay here, so that they don't move to a province that has more funding for the arts, so that this is a very, very important conversation to be having. I was naive. I admit that. I was not aware relative to other provinces how little the arts is funded in this province. I thought because there were lots of artists and lots of things going on that things were supported, but they are, but not as well as they really should be. And we are a hub for the arts. We have an amazing pool of talent. For example, I just attended. My daughter was in Kiwanis in the competition. So the kids have been there through the school, the huge music program here in Lewisport where I am. The kids went. My one daughter's jazz band got a gold standard. My other daughter's concert band in the high school got invited back to the Rose Bowl. So it's a very, very... and then I went yesterday, and my younger daughter, she's 13, she performed in Kiwanis and Gander with her friend. She did fabulous. She scored a 90. She did amazing. It was her first Kiwanis singing, and she did amazing. 90 is a fantastic score for anybody. So for a first-timer who's not had vocal lessons, she's in choirs and stuff. It is absolutely fantastic. So, but what struck me is how many of the kids are participating and how many of these young artists are coming up, and will we have the supports in place for them when they decide they want to showcase somewhere or perform somewhere. I'm particularly drawn to the story Patrina Bromley, who is with Come From Away in New York, and she tells the story how a arts grant actually contributed to her getting that role. It was through participation in a showcase of some sort, and I don't know the details, provided by and funded by an arts grant that led her to get a call to be invited to audition. And she auditioned, and she is now on Broadway in Come From Away. So Newfoundlanders, Labradorians who are artists need more support, and this is my plea to the government to do what this letter recommends, signed by all of the big-named artists in the province, and give more money to the arts. I'd like to see more than what they asked for, to be honest. I think we could do better than that. I think it's a good place to put some of our funding and to start investing for the future, because it's one of our untapped industries. And if we had investment in it, I feel like when people would come here for the arts, and wouldn't that be good if they were coming for book events? And I mean, they're coming for the International Women's Film Festival. People are coming from all over for that. That's the arts. Why couldn't they come for, we need more people. More, make it bigger. Let's grow everything. Let's see how far we can take this industry, because I feel like we got something special. Anyway, that's my uh, speech for the day, and I think that's plenty for one day. Support the arts. If you're out there and you're not government, get out there, buy tickets, go to shows. Um, you know, kids are performing, adults are performing. Go to Citadel House in Lewisporte. Go to the Arts and Culture Center in your community. Get out there and support the arts. Turn off Netflix. It'll be still there when you get back, and go out and spend some money on the arts. Movies are great, but you know what? Live performance is where your energy is best served. It is the most amazing thing to go to a live show. People put their heart and souls into this. If you're in St. John's, there's so many options. If you're right around here, there's still so many options. There's always a show. Go and support. Buy albums. Stream them. I don't care. Just support the arts. Okay. I'm done. And read books. Yeah, that's my thing. Speaking of books, I have a guest today. I had an interview a short while ago with Ida Linehan Young. She is an author with Flanker Press. She has 3 books out, 2 with Flanker Press. The first book was a memoir. Second 2 books, Being Mary Rowe and The Promise, are novels. She is as I said, Flanker published author. Her newest book, The Promise, just came out in the last week or so. Well, I think maybe in March it was released, but she had her launch just this week gone. And it's doing swimmingly. It's doing great. And here is my conversation with Ida Linehan Young. I will be back as soon as things get straightened away. We are not able to do weekly podcasts. We've had a couple of weeks off, and with Bonnie being away, but we are going to get back on track and bring you more content about the arts in Newfoundland and Labrador. I hope you have a fantastic day, and here is my conversation with Ida Linehan Young. Hello, Ida. How are you this morning?
I'm very good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's really great to talk to you. I see you're all over my Facebook and everywhere in social media, and we share a publisher, but we don't know each other except
That's
that
right.
way.
Yes.
So it's good to at least talk to you on the phone. I'm sure we'll meet at some point in person.
I hope so.
Yeah, so you've been writing for a while now. Before we get into talking about your work, let's just talk about you a little bit. Where are you from? What do you do? Or do you do writing all the time, or do you have other work? Well, tell me about Ida.
I am from North Harbour, St. Mary's Bay. So I was one of 10 children, and I currently work for the federal government. I work in the information technology sector. I'm work on projects with the government, and I write in my spare time.
Okay, good. And this is the book that just came out is your 3rd book, I understand.
Yes, The Promise is the 3rd book. It's the 2nd novel, but I also have a memoir, I guess it's called, about my life. So that was the first one that was published in 2014.
Oh, wow. I've often thought about doing a memoir, and I haven't gone into it because it just feels like it would be, I don't know, such a big project. I mean, I'm not that, I've done a lot of important things, but like life is long and so many things happen, and how to narrow it down to what you focus on is always, I've always thought. So good for you for tackling that and giving that a go for sure. I'll have to look for that. So what was interesting about your life that you felt the need to write about it? Was it an event or?
I guess it was based on an event because it was a life-changing event. So when I was 15 years old, we had a house fire in North Harbour, and North Harbour was a community of about 200 people. Everybody had like families of 8, 9, 10, so like 200 people wasn't a lot of families, but it was a lot of people, and it was, I like to call it a dead-end community, not that you were going nowhere, dead end.